Welcome back to Joy in Our Town, our second segment. This segment, we will be talking about human trafficking, a very serious topic, a very serious issue. And we have with us Esther Flores, again, from One Divine Line to Health, who's also known as the Love Warrior. I like saying that, the Love Warrior. Welcome, Esther.
Thank you, Lynette. First of all, I would like to thank God for being here, and second, I would like to thank TVN for giving us an opportunity to talk about human trafficking, and the staff here who actually, chose this topic for us to educate our community and also talk and implement a solution.
Yes, that's good. That's good. A lot of people don't really know what human trafficking is. They have, these ideas or what they may have heard, or there's all kind of ideas about what that looks like. But this is a very, very serious issue, even right here in Central Ohio. And a lot of people don't know that sometimes, there's problems that are going on and people don't know until it hits home or it's an epidemic in the media and the news, but it is an epidemic.
It is.
So why don't you tell us some more about human trafficking and how you are addressing these issues?
I don't want to cry, and it's hard not to cry. I've experienced human trafficking not only here, but also globally in the countries that I've served as a nurse missionary. I'm going to sum it up. There's books. I mean, when it comes to the international laws and even the Ohio law, just bring you a book and it can define it. But I'm just going to define it in one phrase. Human trafficking is an assault to the most precious creation that God created, which was the man and the woman.
Yes.
Assault. And you know what that word is, assault.
Right.
It can be physical, it can be verbal, it can be emotional, it can even be spiritual. So the question is, what can we do? I can go ahead and give you the statistics, but I don't want to talk about the statistics. But if you do want to know about numbers, it costs $32 billion, human trafficking.
Wow.
And this is global. We're talking about global, okay? In Ohio, it's here. It's not only in the Linden area. It's in Lewis Center. It's in Dublin. It's everywhere. It's in every state of the United States. It's in every country, Lynette. This is real. You're right, it's an epidemic here. But now, guess what? This evil has become a pandemic. You know what that means? It's everywhere.
That's right.
What can we do? Well, I'm called the Love Warrior. The devil, if you take out the D, it's evil. He's evil. He came, because that's who he is, the adversary, he came to destroy, to kill, and cheat. That's what he is. But the person that I serve, the greatest social activist that I know, his name is Jesus. His name was Emmanuel. That means God with us.
That's right.
Okay? It doesn't matter where you're at. If you're in the cistern, like Joseph, because you know what? Sometimes people have to read the good book, because human trafficking was found in Genesis chapter 35 when Joseph was sold for 20 shekels by his own brother. His own brothers sold him, And the Jesus that I served was also a victim of human trafficking. He was sold by one of his posse members, one of his people, one of the followers, one of his disciples, Judas. And you know what he sold him for? 30 shekels. So human trafficking is nothing new. It's existed from the beginning. But my question is, what can we do? And I would love to talk to you about the solutions.
Right. So tell me how you are, with your organization and whoever you've collaborated with, addressing the concern, the devastation of human trafficking.
One of the things is that as a nurse, I've been trained to assess, plan, intervene, and evaluate. I need to assess first, and I know the issue. I know it's real. I've experienced, these are the hands that I've dealt with, people who have died, children, young people, older people, this year. And I hate to say that, but it's true. It breaks my heart. So now that God has shown this to me, what can I do? Well, One Divine Line to Health is the solution. You know why? I was in a meeting, at one of our local organizations, Mary Haven. I think they do a great job. They detox the women, and they do everything that they can. But you know what the problem is? Their detox, they go to a shelter, and then the vicious, deadly cycle starts all over again. Some of them have children, but they don't have a place to live. They need a building, give me a building that's suitable for people to live, you know. That would
Right.
be a great place where we can house mothers, you know,
Right.
single moms, even men, you know, who are single parents, you know, work with other, organizations that have the social services that also have the clinical component, you know,
Yes,
to
yes.
come and help. Like Mount Carmel. I mean, this is what we need to know. You know, Mount Carmel East is out there
That's
with
right.
their mobile, you know, their mobile unit, and they go to Stowe Center and they provide clinic, you know, clinic days. And I know that they will be working with me. You know, I
Right.
already talked to Ben. He's a love warrior too. You know,
Yeah,
he's out in
yeah.
the trenches. And this is what we're talking about. This is what One Divine Line to Health is. We like to connect people to remedies. And for me, it's
Yes.
love.
Resources.
You know,
through love.
resources.
That's good. That's
it.
good. I was going to ask you about that because it can be dangerous. I've talked to people who are professionals that are actually working to address the issue
Sure.
of human trafficking. And sometimes you get a pushback.
Sure.
You get a pushback from those that are trafficking the people.
Yes.
And from many different levels, you know, from what I've been told. And again, these are people that provide direct service. And so you have to remain safe.
Oh, sure.
So
Sure.
how are you doing this? Like, I know you don't want to release too much because we don't want, you know, but what does it look like if someone called you and say, hey, Esther, you know, I want out. I want to get out. I've escaped. I'm over here. Do you have a place for them to go to? Like, are you providing housing?
Sure.
I love how you said the resources because you do have to address.
Yes.
Because sometimes people become nomadic and they're so used to that and then they feel like they have to go back when things get rough. So we have to have something there to help filter them through to a more positive, healthy lifestyle. So you are doing what? If they call, they come, they show up at the doorstep of your facility.
Okay.
You know, what happens?
Well, I've had experiences. Unfortunately, I am the person that I'm a risk taker. I took a risk when I started this organization. I gave up my full-time job as a nurse
Wow.
consultant, you know. So I don't care, you know. I can risk everything because I know who called me, which was God,
Yes,
you
that's
know.
good.
And if he calls, he anoints and he appoints. And you mentioned that earlier too, you know, he provides. He's my guy who provides. So I feel like if I see a girl, and I've done it in the past, like on Cleveland Avenue, like even with my best friend, we'll rescue her. I'll take her to my house, to my place, you know. I have her, you know, wash up, you know, give her some clothes. I'll feed her, and I'll ask her, do you want some help? If she says yes, I have, for example, I can call my girlfriend Dolores. She's also a love warrior. You know, she's in the trenches, and her ministry is called Restoration Ministry. I'll call her. She's on my speed dial, and I'll tell her the situation. Then she talks to the person, and then she sends somebody
Wow.
to help her. And there are other organizations. The only thing about it is I'm very careful who I associate with. You know, I need to first talk to that person, kind of look at the program, and based on what I see, and I pray about it, then I associate myself with them, you know.
Right.
And unfortunately, there are times, Lynette, you can help them, but it's their choice. They need to make a choice.
That's
They're
the
runners.
key.
Because that's what they do. They
That's
run.
right.
So
That's
sometimes
right.
they run. They leave the program. My thing is connect them, to love them, experience, you know, that they can come and talk to me, cry. I don't care. I can touch them. They can be dirty or whatever. I'll hug them. They'll cry. I'm okay with that, you know. Yes, I'm one of those people in the trenches because sometimes on Friday evenings, between 9 and 1 o'clock in the morning, I'm out there on Parson and Livingston, you know, with some other members, you know, and that's what we're doing.
Wow, so I love that. So you do have a team, you do have your support.
Yes.
You guys are trained for this. You know what to look for, when to get out, when to stay away. And it sounds like you were saying that you're actually doing intake and assessment because you have to do that, right? When you are reaching out. And one thing I keep hearing you say, keeps threading through, is love. That love thing, like true, authentic love, can break through anything.
Yes,
it doesn't
can.
mean that everything will be perfect immediately. It doesn't mean that things will be in a complete straight line, but it does mean that you will make the impact and change will happen and you will touch the heart. And so even if I believe a person ran, they still have been touched and the seeds been planted, and they may regroup, maybe not immediately. Sometimes we don't even get to see it, but it's not about us anyway. It's about the service.
Amen.
And we are measured by the service we give, not by what we get. And so it's beautiful. And so you have that. And then if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, though, like right now, how can say it was a young man. People think it's just the young ladies. It could be the young men, and a lot of teenagers, because of whatever reason. It's, again, non-judgmental, right?
Yes,
non-biased. The goal is to help them. If they want to be rerouted in life, if they want to change, you help put them in another flow of traffic. So what can they do? How can they get in touch with you, Esther? What do they need to do to get connected, to get help?
They can call my number again. It's 614-313-0544. The number again is 614-313-0544. However, we also have a program here, it's called the Polaris Project, you know. People can also call them, and it's a local organization, but they're doing incredible work. Their number is 233-733. If you can text, it's be free. And you know what? I need to talk about my Jesus. Briefly, okay? He was a victim of human trafficking. He defeated death. He was mutilated. He was tortured to the point of not being recognized. We cannot say that Jesus doesn't understand what a human trafficking victim went through or goes through even right now. One thing that I do know is he died, but he came back to life. And you know what? It's so good that when people make that choice, you know, because you and I have a story, and that's another section. But we could easily have been one of those girls. But God intervened. And one thing that I hold on, and I don't hold on to my past, because my past, if I focus on my past, I can easily be depressed. But I hold on to the scriptures. That is my remedy, just like Jesus is. The Word of God says, if any man or any woman is in Christ Jesus, he is a new creation. For old things have passed away, and behold, all things are new. He is all about reconciliation, you know. So yes, you're hurt, but you also can get the help. This is what One Divine Line to Health is. There are survivors, you know, different types of survivors, but we love Jesus. And I love the fact that we are finally on the airways talking about a solution. Call me, you know, because we need homes. You know, I have the Gilgal Project, you know, basically working with women who were trafficked and now they're working and they need a place to live. We need buildings to take care of the women and the men, the teens. We need homes for teens. We need resources, and Central Ohio has it. Let's just work together.
Yes,
you know?
that's
what love does,
that's
right?
That's good. What's your email address? Your
it's
website?
The same. It's One Divine Line to Health, the numbers, @gmail.com, or Google www.onedivinelinetohealth.com.
Right, and they can connect with you that way. So it is going to take a team effort. There's an old proverb, everybody says it's like cliche almost, it takes a village, but it really does. It's going to take all of us in the community, whatever capacity, and then, you know, great organizations that are actually doing the work by trained professionals, they could use your contribution. So we appreciate it. Thank you so much for coming. This has been just such an honor, hearing the information and everything that you have. So that's our program. Thank you so much for watching. You can also check us out on Facebook at WSFJ TV 51. We'll see you next time.
This program has been sponsored by the Trinity Broadcasting Network and is made possible by your telethon dollars. Your continual support can keep Joy in Our Town coming to your home every week. Write to Joy in Our Town, 7790 North Central Drive, Lewis Center, Ohio, 43035.